Hello, hello, hello. I'm Joe Hart, person with disabilities, primarily invisible disabilities. Let me go live over here too. Hello, hello, hello. Joe Hart here. Joe Hart here. I'm a person with disabilities, primarily invisible disabilities. I'm going to probably try to do a fairly quick stream. I just kind of wanted to cover the Chase Elliott update. It was announced at 5:13 Eastern Standard Time. So we're, about 5.5 hours after the announcement. So, to some people that's old news, some people new news, anyway, Chase Elliott, as the world knows, he injured himself in a snowboard accident on Friday, and he was out of the race this past weekend. And JoshBerry drove for him. And then Hendrick was saying they, will need to make a more permanent decision because the hauler leaves today. The hauler left today on Tuesday toward Las Vegas. Yeah. Sorry. It leaves to Phoenix. So they want to have the proper and correct seat in the car when it leaves, Charlotte area, toward Phoenix, Arizona, Avondale. So, sorry, I'm just getting something here. I've got something in my throat. Sorry about that. There's let me see. Let's that's not what I want. Anyway, I'm going to just read Hendrick's announcement and then maybe go through a couple of Bob Pockrass's tweets. I got a video, but I'm probably not going to it's the first time I've seen that person on a video, or that I recall. And so I probably won't show that, but plus he talks about different topics. I'm trying to just focus on Chase Elliott. So let's see here. So let's do present, share screen. Let me come back on screen. Okay, so let me go over here. Hide. Okay, so this is Hendrick's announcement on their website. I'm going to just read through it. It's about 4 or 5 short paragraphs. I'm going to just read through it and then do Bob Elliott. I'm sorry, Bob Pockrass. So I'm going to, as I usually do, I'm going to go to full screen layout so that you could possibly read this. So I'm not on your screen, but I am on the screen. But now I'm going to go off screen so I can read it. So anyway, from Hendrick Motorsports, article, it was tweeted at 5:13 p.m., March 7th, Tuesday. Concord, that's where they are, Concord. So Concord, North Carolina. As NASCAR Cup Series star Chase Elliott recovers from a leg injury, JoshBerry will continue to drive the number 9 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 for Hendrick Motorsports at upcoming oval tracks, while road racing standout JordanTaylor will compete for the team at Circuit of the Americas. And of course, JordanTaylor is from the IMSA world, and he's really good, and he's really interesting on social media. He's kind of wacky. He has an alter ego and stuff. Elliott, 27, suffered a fractured tibia while snowboarding in Colorado on March 3rd, Friday, and which, he was supposed to be in Las Vegas on Saturday. So he did it the day before and underwent successful surgery that evening. He was released from the hospital Saturday and did not race Sunday at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, marking the first missed start of his career. The 2020 Cup Series champion is currently rehabilitating in Colorado. His recovery expected to last approximately 6 months. That's a huge word, approximately, of course. We're focusing on getting Chase back to 100%. So we'll take however much time is necessary and make sure he has the best resources available, says Rick Hendrick, owner of Hendrick Motorsports. Josh was impressive this weekend under difficult circumstances, and we look forward to having him drive the oval track until Chase is able to return. I don't have it in front of me, but I think he finished 29th, which again, it was at the last minute and blah, 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 blah. He wasn't used to the car. I think that was his first new car. You know, the car, it's a new car. NASCAR has a new car as of last year. Let me come back on here. So, oh, there it is. Okay, so I could have just kept reading. Jordan is a world-class road racer and has recently been working with our Garage 56 team preparing for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. He'll be able to step in and do a great job at COTA. Barry, 32, filled in for Elliott at Las Vegas, finishing 29th in his third career Cup start, but his first time in the new car. Driving for Hendrick Motorsport affiliate JR Motorsports, the Hendersonville, Tennessee native is a 5-time race winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Martinsville 2021, Las Vegas 2021 and 2022, Dover 2022, Charlotte 2022. Taylor currently competes in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship for Corvette Racing. He usually drives for his father, and his brother usually is one of his teammates, depending on how many teammates they have. I'm not sure if Corvette is his dad's company, so he might not be driving for his dad currently. But anyway, it's a racing family for sure. Dad and two kids, two sons. The Orlando, Florida native won the 2017 24 Hour of Daytona and the 2017 championship in the IMSA prototype class. Although the March 26th race at Circuit of the Americas will represent his first career Cup Series start, the 31-year-old driver has competed at the road course multiple times, including 2 wins, 2016 and 2017, and 4 IMSA appearances. Man, that is good. It's won 2 out of 4. So let's bring that out. Let me see. So I'm going to, like I said, yeah, feel free to make any comments. Let me know that you're watching and stuff. Twitter, I don't know if you have any questions or let me see what I got over here. I don't understand Twitter. Hey, you got any questions, comments and stuff? Just feel free to let us know. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Bob Pockris. I'm OCD. So I might repeat stuff. So I'm going to start with the update and then go with his other things about, the other things. I don't know how many it is. I think it's 4 to 6 tweets or something like that. Bob Pockris is great. If you want to know about NASCAR, I'd follow him, and he's the authority. I would read his stuff before anybody else's to know if something actually happened. So anyway, so let me go present, share screen. So I'm back on screen. Okay, so same thing. So now I'm on the screen for you and on the screen for me. I can see me and you can see me, but I'm going to bring it to full screen. So I'm going to go full screen at layout so you can't see me. I can still see it, but now I'm going to go offline and so I can read it. My eyes aren't the greatest. So it says Hendrick Motorsport, which the handle, I'm sure you all know, at Twitter, there's a handle, which is the most important, and then there's a name, which is not as important. So the handle is Team Hendrick. The name is Hendrick Motorsports. The handle is the most important. I mean, the handle is the only thing that matters. So update, as Chase Elliott recovers, JoshBerry will drive the number 9 Chevy on ovals, and JordanTaylor will race NASCAR at COTA. Click for more details. So let me go back. And then, again, a lot of repeat, but that's okay. So as you can see, Bob Pockris there, JoshBerry for the ovals and JordanTaylor for COTA in the number 9 Cup car. Hendrick Motorsports says that Elliott is expected to miss 6 weeks. Josh will do ovals and JordanTaylor at COTA. Hendrick has a quote. Rick Hendrick, Josh was impressive this weekend under difficult circumstances, and we look forward to having him drive the oval tracks until ChaseElliott is able to return. JordanTaylor, of course, at COTA, which is not, it's a road course. That's why it's different. So neither the team nor Chase have commented on the specifics of the injury other than to say he has 3 hours of surgery, that he had 3 hours of surgery for a broken left tibia. He is rehabbing in Colorado, and recovery is expected to last approximately 6 weeks. Hendrick team said the recovery is approximately 6 weeks. The Martinsville weekend is 6 weeks from him leaving the hospital, so I think that would be the earliest. But again, the word approximately is being used because it depends on time it takes to heal. So Liza Bell Jean. So yeah, I'm just going over I got some links, and I watched a link on Discord, and I was exhausted, and I had fallen asleep, and when I woke up, 45 minutes ago, Discord woke me up, or I was waking up anyway. So I was aware of Discord. I watched it. I have that video, prompted, but I probably won't. But anyway, so we just did let's see here. Liza Bell Jean, hello Joe. And do you like the COTA decision? I guess full disclaimer or disclose or preface or whatever it is. I'm not a big fan of ChaseElliott, and I'm not a big fan of Hendrick. JordanTaylor is great at road courses. He's won twice at COTA in IMSA. He drives for IMSA normally for Corvette Racing. So I just read this, and we can probably go back to it, but he's raced 4 times at COTA in IMSA and won 2 of them. He's won 2 of the 4 races, so that's really phenomenal. COTA's new to NASCAR. It's been maybe 3 years, or I might be wrong on that. I think I'm wrong on that. It's been like 8 or 9 years, but I still consider that new. So there's tons of drivers, like all of the teams would probably want to have a road course ringer for COTA. So we would have a entry list of 40 drivers, and I bet if they were given the option, 25 of those drivers would want someone to sit in for them. I'm just shooting. So but I think it really is. It's challenging. I don't know I've been there half a dozen times. I just don't remember things, but it's something along the lines of 13, 15 turns, half left, half right, whatever it is, 6 and 9 or something. It's tough. Elevation, it's huge in elevation. It was already uneven in Austin, Texas, but then they brought dirt in to make it even more uneven. So it's huge elevation. So anyway, I think the bottom line on who's replacing ChaseElliott, the bottom line, it's only a place marker. It's just a place marker. They're not going to win a ton of races. They're not going to get a bunch of points, and it doesn't go to ChaseElliott's going to drop. ChaseElliott must win a race, which he will. And I didn't realize, but they eliminated, you must be in the top 30 points to get into the playoffs. They've eliminated that for this year. So he doesn't have to do that. And then, but he just won't advance. He might get in the final 16. He might, by a fluke, get in the final 12. But after that, he must win a race to advance each round. And so he's not going to be in the final 4. And I don't know the details exactly, but I think he's been 4 of the last 6 years. He's been in the final 4. So he never went. He only, anyway, he's won once. He's won championship once. So anyway, JordanTaylor is probably one of the best road course ringers that someone could have. Plus, he's driving for Hendrick. Hendrick, about a year ago or so, came up with this, and I'm going to butcher it, but something about Team 56 or something, and they're going to, Hendrick, who is only NASCAR, is going to enter a car in the 24-hour Le Mans. That's that, American versus European thing. So I'm sure most people are laughing. Anyway, so they're going to try to do it. They got Chase, what's his name? Chad Canals, who's used to be Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, but now he's the top technical person at Hendrick for 4 teams. He's kind of in charge of putting the team together. So anyway, JordanTaylor is currently doing some stuff. It's in the future. 24-hour Le Mans, I think, is in June. So that's 3 or 4 months from now, or June or July. So it's in the future, but it's huge. 24-hour Le Mans is like there are teams that spend millions of, well, not millions. There are teams that spend countless amounts of money for the one race. Non-Americans, we don't do it. This is going to be a pretty big deal to have JordanTaylor in the car 56. So anyway, yes. So that was my long, extensive answer. It's a good decision. I mean, I don't know if I like it, but yeah, it's a good decision. JordanTaylor is good. Josh Berry, I mean, last weekend wasn't fair. He was given no notice. He was not, I'm sure the chair was not proper. I don't know if he's tall. I don't know if he's the exact same height and weight as ChaseElliott, there wouldn't be much difference. I don't know their variances, but it's still not your chair. Every driver has their own, pilot chair. I'll call it pilot chair. So they all, they have their own, and Josh Berry, or all of them, they probably have a chair for NASCAR Cup Series, a chair for NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's a very private thing. So anyway, I think him getting 29th is, what the heck? That was good. That was good. Anyway, I was going to do, let me go back to, let's see here. I don't think I've ever formally done a short. And I know shorts used to be super cool and super popular. And then it was like, no, they're not really worth much or whatever. But I don't believe I've ever formally done one. I think I wanted to do a short tonight. That's what I was in my mind of just covering the Chase thing. And then, I wanted to do other stuff today, earlier. I'm going to probably, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm probably going to start streaming earlier. I did want to check in with a couple of people that watch me fairly consistently and find out what their schedule is and stuff. But I probably will try. That's the operative word. I would try, again, Monday through Thursday, I would try to start streaming 5, 6, 7 p.m. And I hope, especially if I'm going to start doing daily, which it looks like I'm going to go in that direction. I hope to do an hour and a half, 2 hours max. Again, I haven't realized that yet. I talk more, but that's what I'm hoping to do. So anyway, I might classify this as short. I don't know if I can convert it later, but there is anyway, I'm going to have to figure out. Plus, I guess I'm doing a lot of research about YouTube recorded, and I don't know if that's what it's formally called, but that's what I call it. So I think there's YouTube Live, which by definition you go live, and then there's YouTube recorded, which I don't really know much about. I think I've mistakenly done 10 or 20 or 30 videos, but I haven't learned. But that's when you stop the video, edit it, do whatever you can to it, and then release it, and then people watch it only as a recorded. So anyway, I'm going to probably try to start doing that too. So, okay, let's go back to Bob Pockris. So full screen layout and back to Bob Pockris. So, okay, so back here at the top here, I'm going up. So we're at this top here. Bob Pockrass. Hendrick team says the recovery is approximately 6 weeks. The Martinsville weekend is 6 weeks from him leaving the hospital, so would think that would be the earliest. But again, the word approximately is being used because depends on time it takes to heal. I think he's such a phenomenal rider, especially because he has a character. He has a character limit, and we all do, but he abbreviates or make it shorter words when he needs to, and then he writes a complete sentence when he needs to. I think it's great what he does. Please, everybody, follow Bob Pockrass. Okay, so all medication has to be approved by NASCAR, and typically they don't allow any significant painkillers during race weekend. But we all know Chase Elliott is the golden child. So if he needs really strong painkillers, if there were to be an exception, he would be it. Not much benefit to starting a race and getting out. A lot of people are bringing that up. Why didn't he just the people that score points on a car in a race is who starts the race. So if the race is 200 laps and you do lap 1 and get out of the car, you get the points. So a lot of people are saying, why didn't Chase just get in, do a lap, be in the back of the, just do a lap and then get out and have someone else finish it. And so this is how Bob is responding to that. Not much benefit to starting a race and getting out. The relief driver can't earn you playoff points, and you can't use the win to get into the playoffs. So the only benefit is the slight chance there are more than 16 winners, and those points would put you ahead of someone else with 1 win. So anyway, yeah, he's a then Hocevar, Inspire, and then the top. So that's all that. Let me come back on the screen. Do you think NASCAR will change the rules in mid-season? They won't change any rules mid-season. I think, and I'm just shooting from the hip. I think last year or the year before was the first time that NASCAR has ever made a rule change in the middle of the season. I can't recall what it was, but that's what's swimming around in my brain. So they never changed it in mid-season, which makes sense. The first day of the season, everybody knows the rules. 70% of the drivers don't read the rule book, so 70% of the drivers don't know the rules, but they are supposed to. The crew chief has read the rule book, so the crew chief knows all the rules. So the first day of the season, everybody knows the rules, so you can't say there's cheating or whatever. It's just the way it is. So I don't think though. I'm not exactly what you're referring to. There's waivers. Those are the exceptions. I don't know what I said. If you could maybe give me a little guidance, Liza, on. Let me read your question again. Do you think NASCAR will change the rules in mid-season for Chase? Yeah. Feel free to give me just a 1 or 2 or 3 word, explanation of what you might be referring to about what I just said. I may not know exactly what I said. The waiver, it's done. Everybody, NASCAR, I think 2 NASCAR officials, but it's done. He's got the waiver. He's going to get the waiver. That means, you must race. I make these statements, but then there's a waiver, which is the exception. But you must race in all 36 races, all 36 points races to be in the playoffs. And then everybody gets a waiver. So it's a non-existent rule. And he's got it. Not actually, but everybody says there's no reason for him not to. So he's got the waiver. He's going to have the chance to get in the playoffs. He will win a race, most likely. He's talented. I don't think he's ultra talented like his dad, but he's talented. But Alex Gustafson, his crew chief, who is old, my topic. So waivers are changing the rules in my book. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you completely. But they exist. And every they exist. And I don't remember what happened last week. But just off the top of my head, Kyle Busch. Okay. The big issue with this waiver that people are having, when he's being the most popular driver, that means he has a lot of haters too. So a lot of people are hating on him, but a lot of people are saying, like Kyle Busch, I was just about to bring him up. Kyle Busch broke, I use that word loosely, but there were fractures in both of his legs, one really bad, one pretty bad. But he did it in the middle of a race. He was in a race and he hit the wall and he broke him. So people are saying Chase ought not to get the waiver because he was snowboarding. I haven't completely decided yet. I'm usually extreme. I usually say, if they're racing and something happens, give them the waiver. If they're doing parachuting or snowboarding, I don't know. I'm not. So I can see him not. I think it would be okay if he didn't get the waiver, but he's got it. He's got the waiver. It doesn't matter. So, Scott Miller, I think. I forget the two. There are two official NASCAR officials, and they won't commit to it. So they said, we see no reason for Chase Elliott to not get the waiver. And, if I could be judgmental, Rick Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports are the golden child team. Not that NASCAR will play favorites, but they love Rick Hendrick. Rick Hendrick has brought millions of dollars into NASCAR for, whatever. So, but no, I agree with you, Liza Bell, Jean. I probably talk out of both sides of my mouth for sure. I think everything here. Let me read what you says. If another athlete breaks a leg in the middle of the season, he is out for the year. NASCAR is a comfy sport. That it's different, it's all different. A driver sits in a car, so they're not playing football, they're not playing basketball, they're not playing baseball, they're not playing hockey. Although I bet there's a ton of exceptions, and I don't know who. Let's just make it up an example. Michael Jordan getting a tendon, and he was supposed to be out 20 weeks, and he was out 3 weeks. I'm just making that up. I don't know the truth. So I'm sure there's exceptions. They were supposed to be out the whole year, and they were not. They're like, I'm going to play, and they're going to get back into it. But they are using their tool is their body. A NASCAR is sitting in a car. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be easy. Chase has to use every driver does driving differently. So some drivers use their left foot for the brake, and some drivers use their right foot for the brake. They're all different. They have their preferences, just like we do. Although I would hope everybody uses their left for the what's it called? The choke, not choke. You know what I mean? That third pedal. So anyway, so yeah, anyway, it will be challenging. So anyway, so I would say that as a comfort sport. They're sitting in a car. The 3,500-pound car is doing most of the work, although if they're injured, but no, Denny Hamlin, which you know how I feel about Denny Hamlin. He thinks he's a sporting athlete, and he has a team with Michael Jordan, and he's played golf with Michael Jordan forever. But anyway, he has an indoor basketball court at his house, and 20, 30, 40 of the current drivers play basketball at his house. So even though he's a jerk, he gets brownie points. And so anyway, he did something to his leg, or I forget what. Oh, I think it was during basketball. I think he was playing basketball, and he did something real serious. And every doctor in the world said it's 12 weeks. He won't be back in 12 weeks. And Denny said, nuh-uh, I am coming back. And it was extreme. He came back like in 3 weeks instead of 19 weeks. Anyway, my fish keeps growing. So, anyway, I'm not, so anyway, but it was extreme like that. I think it was kind of like that with Kyle Busch. I mean, I can still picture that wreck. It was like in slow motion. We saw Kyle Busch's car go off the track into the grass, which grass slows everything down. So he got into the grass and he's going right for the wall. Everybody sees it. He can't turn left or right. He can't hit another car to slow down, and he's just, again, the grass didn't, the grass, you had one job. You had one job to stop his car and look beautiful. A lot of that grass is to look beautiful. But so it was hard. It was slow motion. We all saw what was going to happen, and it happened. And it didn't give. When he hit the wall, his two legs just bam. And so anyway, it wasn't as much. By the way, let me just anyway. See you later, Twitter. So anyway, I don't know the details, but something along the lines probably that he was, 12 weeks out of the way. Now, I mean, a lot of this is politics. I mean, and I don't like using that word because it's not politics, but it's, even though Kyle Busch wears the black hat, people want to see him in the race. They want to hate on him. They want to scream at him. So he needed to be, plus I don't have the details. I forget the details. I was there every single week. So I had excruciating pain. Yeah, that's a perfect description. So Liza Bell Jean says, but Elliott will not do all the races as the other pilots. Not fair, but the race fans are okay with it. It is okay, I guess. Well, and it's, it's nothing in this world is 100% supported by anybody. So you got to go with numbers, and I would say because he's the most popular driver for the 7th year in a row or whatever it is, most fans will be okay with it. But as far as your sentence there goes, I think what you ought to look at, which it sounds like there's a lot of information on Twitter and stuff. What I would look at is what the other drivers are saying about should you not be allowed to do snowboarding, especially on Friday to, the day before quality, whatever and what I've seen, there's not an exception. Every single driver is saying, no, I can do snowboarding. You can't restrict me from snowboarding, and it can't be in my contract, and I'm not going to do it. And then they first started talking to owner drivers, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski. I forget the third one, a big one, big. Yes, I don't like Kyle Busch. I remember his waiver in 2015. I turned off the TV, which I didn't finish that story, and I was like, but Kyle Busch then won the championship. So not only did he miss a bunch of races, again, I don't know the number. If I had to guess, probably something like 7, 8, 9, 10 races. He was probably supposed to miss 9, 10, 11, 12 races. So he probably came back a little quicker but anyway, I'm just making up numbers. So, but then he won the championship. So that's, I mean, there's almost no chance. And I say these things and then I'm proven wrong, but, Elliott won't win the championship. Anyway, all the drivers, especially those owners, were saying, Brad Keselowski was the person that got the closest, but there is nothing in the contract. He just said, we tell everybody. And he said, I mean, everybody, crew chiefs, everybody, the people working on the car, the ones transporting the car. He said, we try to ask everybody to be as safe and responsible and make the best decisions and be safe and whatever. I don't know what that means. I mean, when someone goes snowboarding, I'm pretty certain some of the people do riskier things than less riskier things. Chase seems like he's a lump in the mud. So I don't know if he's taking big risks, but anyway, I mean, things happen. So, they'll, now, okay, I think you said, will they, do you think NASCAR will change the rules in mid? I was not aware. I talked yesterday and the day before, and just about every day I've talked about this. I've mentioned you must be in top 30. You must be top 30 in points to advance to the playoffs. And that was like an afterthought. They had all these rules to get in the playoffs, and they're like, oh, yeah, you can't be. Yeah, you got to be top 30, which at that time is like everybody's top 30. Well, okay, 30 drivers are top 30, and the other 10 are not. But it was pretty easy to get top 30. So as an afterthought, it was real easy to do. I did not know, but Bob Pockrass, I read it yesterday or the day before. They've eliminated that for this year. So, yeah, they're probably chipping away a little bit on the rules. But whether he needs it is a rule. You must race in all 36 races. So the waivers will exist. The waivers do exist. And, who knows? I mean, there's again, I don't think it's politics, but Rick Hendrick, Chase Elliott, and then Chevrolet. I mean, Chase Elliott drives a Chevrolet. They're the bullies of NASCAR. They're the biggest. They're the most winningest. They put millions of dollars in every year. I mean, they're not going to have their golden child not. So, I mean, there is money and pressure. And I didn't even think of Chevrolet. They are the biggest bully in the world. I don't like them, but they're great. And so anyway, I'm sure, I'm positive that the three top people of Chevrolet called the three top people of NASCAR and said, by the way, Chase Elliott is in the playoffs. By the way, he's in the playoffs. And they're like, oh, leave us alone. We're going to make our own decisions. But they're not. They have to keep that in consideration. So anyway, it's pretty interesting for sure. So let's see here. And, of course, Liza Belgene, everybody has the right to turn off the TV. Oh, those numbers. That was a cool video that I looked at. I've never seen that guy. I don't want to show, anyway, whatever. I'm getting better. See the Christmas lights. I'm getting better. But everything is hard. Everything is challenging. So, anyway, I forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, those numbers. So anyway, yeah, to stop the video, and I'm trying to learn from the video too. So that's why, I can't, when I'm streaming, I can't watch the video. So I have to watch it before, no timestamps and anything. So, I'm those numbers were cool. And I'm just gonna give an overview paraphrase, but, the viewership, NASCAR was down a fair amount. Formula One was down just a little bit, and IndyCar was down a fair amount. And that was in order. NASCAR was the most views, then Formula One, and then IndyCar. And that's pretty typical. But then the guy says, well, numbers are kind of strange because, people less and less people have a television, and less people have a cable TV service or satellite service. It's a computer monitor. It's not a TV. It's a computer monitor. And then they cut the cord. They have Hulu and, all that kind of stuff. So, oh no, I can't mention brands. Do you want to sponsor me? So, anyway, so anybody can turn their TV off, but, I think that's I think people threaten them with that. And, as there's a ton of, clatter and, whatever. There's a ton of stuff going on, online and stuff. So, it's interesting. I'm not a big fan of, I guess I'm not a big fan of anybody, but I'm not a big fan of Kyle Petty. He's old school of thought. You probably like him. But he does talk shows and he's really opinionated, and he just speaks on, so he was saying, he said all the talk is because of Chase Elliott. He said, we wouldn't be talking about this. And he's like, I don't want to name names. I'm not trying to criticize other drivers, but he says, we wouldn't be talking about this if it was Michael McDowell, middle of the pack. Out of 40 drivers, Michael McDowell's 22, 25th, 27th, middle of the pack. And then he mentioned another, Corey LaJoie, who this year, after 3 races, Corey LaJoie is doing fantastic. He's like 7th or 12th, or he's way up there. That's unheard of. Corey LaJoie usually is 30th, 32nd, 34th, and he will be. I mean, it was just 3 really good races, and then they'll, anyway, I mean, that's absolutely true. Kyle Petty is spot on, which Kyle Petty usually is spot on. It's just, anyway, I love what he says, and I love his opinion and all that stuff. It's the other stuff that I don't really care about, which is, what I always say. But anyway, yeah, I think it was a perfect storm. It's Chase Elliott, the most popular driver for the past 6-7 years, which it's not one of my more favorite topics, but I'm probably going to do a stream about the most popular driver being those 4 drivers for the past, I don't know the exact years, but I think it's over 30 years. So Chase Elliott, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt Sr., and Bill Elliott. 2 fathers and sons. Those 4 have been the only choices for the most popular driver for however many years. I think it's 30 plus years. So I do hope to cover that, because Chase is popular and Bill still goes to races, and Dale Jr. is a rock star. And now that he doesn't drive anymore, and Dale Sr., rest in peace. So thank you for the explanation and your point of view. I'm just a fan of races, but not a regular one. They get me mad. I just stopped working. I really don't care about Hendrick and his Golden Boys. Amen. As you can tell, I don't care about him either. And I'm kind of neutral. Like, okay, Hendrick Motorsport, as you may or may not know, it's the 5, which is Kyle Larson, and the 9, which is Chase Elliott normally. And then the 24, which is, the iRacing dude. He's called Lord Byron, but William Byron won the race. And then Alex Bowman. So I love Kyle Larson. I think he's the greatest. I hope he wins the championship this year. And I don't care about Hendrick. And then Chase, I don't like that he's the world's most popular. William Byron, just not my favorite. He's never blown my skirt up. And then Alex Bowman, I don't know what Hendrick sees in those 2 drivers, but they win occasionally. They get poles occasionally. They're in the playoffs usually. They advance in the playoffs. You go round of 16, the round of 12, the round of 8, the round of 4. They advance into the 12 or the 8. So, but yeah, you're welcome, Liza Belgene. I hope I wasn't real forceful and stuff, but I mean, as far as being a fan of races, but not a regular one, well, you're getting pretty regular. Last weekend was overload with the 3 races, but it sounds like you had support on all sides on watching 3 races. But anyway, as far as being a fan of races, it's only Josh Berry, just Josh Berry. I mean, he's a place marker. Josh Berry is only a place marker. I don't mean to offend him, but that might be offensive to him. But it's just a place marker. He might qualify 10th. He might get 3rd in a stage. He might get, but at the end of the race, he's not going to do much, So, and I could be surprised. I could be blown away and go, golly, he's great. And he's in Xfinity. He was a surprise dark horse. Dale Earnhardt Jr. found him, hired him. He's older, me and my age. I think he's 38. So he's older and almost like a has-been, like, oh, we can't hire him. So he brought him into Xfinity and he lit him up. He did really well. So he could luck out and light him up. I think they said, yesterday was his 3rd NASCAR Cup Series race. And but the huge disclaimer, which I didn't hear anybody say. I mean, I've of course heard it at least a couple times, but it's his first Cup race in the new car, the brand new car, which all playbooks for all teams had to be scrapped. The beginning of last year, a year ago, a couple weeks ago, they started with a completely blank playbook for all tracks because of the new car, when they had years, they had 12 years of playbooks for all the tracks prior to that. 12 years, they'd go, do you want to look at the fall? Do you want to look at the spring race? They had tons of data, but they started with a blank. So anyway, he could surprise us for sure, but it's a place marker. So anyway, I guess my only point is it's just Josh Berry dropping out. There still can be competition. I don't think Chase Elliott is if I had my crystal ball, I would say over the next 10 years, Chase Elliott will win one, maybe, if he's lucky, which he was lucky on the last one. He backed into his championship. Kyle Larson, the last lap, Kyle Larson was supposed to win, and not excuses, but he did back into it. So in the next 10 years, he probably will win. He might win one championship if he's really lucky, two, but that would be it. And, if you win two and you already have one, if you have three, that's pretty reputable. But I don't think he's phenomenal like so many people think he is. And I think that's wishful thinking. Bill Elliott, his father, was phenomenal, so everybody wants his son to be phenomenal. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was phenomenal, so everybody wanted Dale Earnhardt Jr. to be phenomenal. Well, guess what, folks? No one is like their parents. And it can work in the opposite direction. Richard Petty has 200 wins, which those aren't, they're not like 200 wins these days, but he has 200 wins. And his father, Morris, or no, that's his brother, Jack, I can't think of his dad's name, but Richard Petty's dad, Richard's not like his dad. He's way better. No one's like your parent. No one is. So although his dad was talented and he won races and, he was there forever and ever and ever. So anyway, I think I'm going to, I just wanted to cover the Chase Elliott thing, this week in motorsports. That was the topic yesterday, but that's not what I talked about. It ended up, I talked about results and point standing. And, there's 5 races, so there's a lot to cover. And by the end of the stream, I was like, and it was in the title. I'm sorry, guys. It was in the title and I didn't cover it. But it prompted me. I was like, oh, okay. Mondays, most weeks, hopefully, Mondays, I hope and plan to do results and point standing for whatever race happened, whatever big race happened that weekend. And then Tuesday can be this week in motorsports. So that's what I wanted to do tonight. But I didn't. I just, I fell asleep. And anyway, I'm burning the candle at all ends. So anyway, I just wanted to just cover this. Thank you for the prompt. The Discord is probably the reason. Oh, there's a bunch of Discords. Let me go off screen here. The Discord is what prompted this stream. So thank you. I did put it up as a tab. I've never seen that guy before. He doesn't seem to be my cup of tea. But he brought up the ratings. I would love, if I could have not a crystal ball, whatever, if I could create the most perfect world. And what it is that back when, Howdy Doody was on TV, what's it called? Anyway, you would, households would be interviewed about TV viewership and Nelson rating. And, I never got invited, and so many people never got invited, but I'm like, well, how's that happen? So, anyway, I don't know how people find out what the viewership was each week and how it compares to the year before. And with NASCAR, a lot of tracks have 2 tracks 2 tracks a year. So they do viewership this race and then the viewership a year ago, and then they go to the previous. So if it's fall race, they go to the spring race and do the same thing. So the past spring race and then the year ago spring race. So, and of course, all numbers are going down, which I, secretly cheer that for NASCAR, but it's because of other reasons, of course. The thing could be becoming less popular. Liza Bell Jean said she, turned off the TV after Kyle Busch got his waiver. I hope you don't turn it off because of Chase. So, I know you'll do something. So anyway, I think if I could figure out how to get the viewership raw data, I don't want people to analyze it. I want to get the raw data. So, the past race a year ago, Formula One a year ago, IndyCar a year ago, and there's always disclaimers. They're like, well, NASCAR has, this year is on Fox, but last year is on FS1, which naturally is going to be less numbers. There's always, plus, they're like, well, football had a game that night too. There's always explanations, which is good. It's good to know what's going on. But I would love to know. I think it'd be, I could do a weekly show on viewership alone. That would be really cool. Anyway, it's getting kind of long. This is not a short anymore. I hope to figure out how to do a short. That would be great. I do appreciate all the viewers and stuff. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the comments. I have not shouted out my 8 streams yet. I'm going to mention them. I know some people don't care for that much, but that's the reason I'm here. My invisible disabilities and my StreamYard and YouTube is still not, I don't get YouTube. I need 8 streams. I can't just do 1 stream. So anyway, as y'all know, I'm streaming the StreamYards. The plan I have, I can stream up to 8 platforms or destinations. Starting 1 or 2 or 3 days ago, I started doing 8. I was always doing 6, and then there was a Twitter problem, and I still haven't solved that yet. I just don't get it. But anyway, so the big shout out. So thank you. A shout out and thank you to Facebook profile, Facebook page. I have 2 for some reason. I don't quite understand the difference. LinkedIn profile, and then YouTube. The new addition is I now have 2 different accounts. The one, Joe Hart, space PwD apostrophe S, and then Francis apostrophe space assistant. That's the newest one. So I'm doing both currently. Twitch, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm able to stream there, so that's cool. Twitter, 1 of 2 worked. The Twitter, the Joe Hart 901 seems to work. The NASC Hart Inc. started having problems a week ago Thursday. I got in touch with tech support at StreamYards, and I think it worked. I had to delete everything, and it worked once, I do believe. So it did work like 3 or 4 times. I changed it. It worked once, and then now it hasn't worked for like 7 or 8 times. So I don't get NASCAR Inc. I don't know what's going on. I've heard recently that Twitter was going through some stuff, and there's all, it's whatever. When you have a staff of whatever it was, 10,000 people, and now he has a staff of 500 people, or whatever the differences are. Obviously you can't be as efficient and as effective and as you can't be live. Twitter has to die occasionally. But anyway, I'm going on and on. So thank you, Liza Bell Jean, for the prompt with the Discord. Thank you for the comments. Viewers, you are welcome. Thank you for the live viewers and the comments. Thank you for being the recorded viewers. I really appreciate that. You can also make comments after the video ends. So please let me know what you think of Chase Elliott and whether the waiver, ought Chase Elliott get a waiver, which he hasn't asked for yet. So it hasn't been approved yet, but we all know he's going to get it. So yeah, what do you think of Elliott getting the waiver? He doesn't, the waiver will be, he doesn't have to be in all 36 races to be in the playoffs. That's the waiver. So what do you think of that? What do you think of Josh Berry doing the ovals indefinitely for the next 6 or so weeks? And then Jordan 10 Taylor from IMSA doing the COTA, the road course. So yeah, give me comments and stuff on what you think of those 3 things. Hendrick Motorsport. Yeah, I mean, anything you want. So that would be cool. Let me stop that screen. So, okay. So, is that the last one? Thank you for this. That's 11:37. That's 14 minutes ago. So yeah, Liza Beljean might be doing different things. So I always like to give people opportunity to say goodbye and all that stuff, which, it's okay. You don't have to. That's just what I do. I like to give people time. That's why I have one of the reasons I have long goodbyes. But anyway, as usual, I'm going to hit end broadcast twice, once, then I have to hit again, and I'll count down for both. And then the stream will stop, but not the comments. And then I'll go through the 8 destinations or platforms. And then when I finish that, then I would hit the button, leave studio. And then that's when comments go down. So, okay. Thank you very much. I'm hoping and planning to do This Week in Motorsports. That's my hashtag. I've used it for a year. Ciao, Joe. See you later. See you, Liza Beljean. Thank you so much. So, yeah, the This Week in Motorsports I hope to do tomorrow, but I hope weekly it will be on Tuesdays. So, and I'm ramping up on all the other stuff. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Oh, yeah, March Madness, which starts soon. That might get in the way slightly. March 14th. That starts March 14th, the week from today. So that might get in the way, but I might cover some of those games live at the location. There's New York City and Albany, and there's others, Dayton and Louisville. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. So although it's a long drive, I might go there. Okay, so that's it. So end broadcast in 3, 2, 1. And then I have to hit it again. So end broadcast in 3,